Welcome to Modern Day Problems, narrated by Eric Johnson. Oh, it's Dave Chappelle.
Although America is the greatest nation in the world, we still face many modern problems.
How can we solve it, Dave?
And modern problems require modern solutions.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make him drop dead, you a killer. Shower you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions.
Part 1, Education System. We're living in a cellular world, and some of the times we are simply getting swept right along. For some individuals, it's keeping up with the Joneses, purchasing the newest stuff, having the correct associations, the best network. For some individuals, this concept is too much. I ask myself, is Generation Z doing what's needed? Are we achieving enough? Some do not know how much this has to do with the state of the world. If we do not pass on the present moment, if we are not prepared, we may not hit on the milestones for the best outcome of life. We are always living, always planning, trying to secure a good future because we want to live a good life. It's wonderful to know that even on worst days, we still have something to look forward to. We are always looking back at earlier time. Gen Z has been tied up with the extreme American description that you generally need to work harder, pushing yourself more and more, or you will be a disappointment. This applies to even the fun stuff. Everyone's attempting to beat each other, and this is both unfortunate and interesting.
Roxanne, all she wanna do is party all night. Oh man, Roxanne, never gonna love me, but it's alright. She think I'm an a-hole, she think I'm a player. She keep running back though, only cause I pay her. Roxanne, all she wanna do is party all night. Met her at a party in the hills, yeah. She just wanna do it for the thrill, yeah. Shawty drop a pool.
If we're not correcting mistakes made in education, then what's the point of pointing them out in the first place? Is it really enough to point out the gaps in learning and never filling them after the fact? Dr. Jeffrey Canada, the CEO of the Harlem Children's Zone, is there at the education system to look at the data, think about the students, and make a systematic shift in order to help a greater number of students succeed.
This year, there are going to be millions of our children that we're going to needlessly lose. That we could right now, we could save them all. You saw the quality of the educators who were here. Do not tell me they could not reach those kids and save them. I know they could. It is absolutely possible. Why haven't we fixed this? Those of us in education have held on to a business plan that we don't care how many millions of young people fail. We're going to continue to do the same thing that didn't work. And nobody is getting crazy about it, right? Enough to say enough is enough. So here's a business plan that simply does not make any sense.
Canada says we need more innovation.
It's still the same approach, right? One size fits all. If you get it, fine. And if you don't, tough luck. Just tough luck. Why haven't we allowed innovation to happen? Do not tell me we can't do better than this. Look, you go into a place that's failed kids for 50 years, and you say, so what's the plan? And they say, well, we're going to do what we did last year this year. What kind of business model is that? Banks used to open and operate between 10 and 3. They operate 10 to 3. They will close for lunch hour. Now, who can bank between 10 and 3? The unemployed. They don't need banks. They got no money in the banks. Who created that business model, right? And it went on for decades. You know why? Because they didn't care. It wasn't about the customers. It was about bankers. They created something that works for them. How could you go to the bank when you were at work? It didn't matter. Then they don't care whether or not Jeff is upset he can't go to the bank. Go find another bank. They all operate the same way, right? Now, one day, some crazy banker had an idea. Maybe we should keep the bank open when people come home from work. They might like that. What about a Saturday? What about introducing technology?
Today's education system needs a lot of work done. It is a flawed system that needs to be improved to help our future generations to get a proper education. We need to better our education for the future to not limit their abilities because of our inability to fix problems. Kezia Williams, the CEO of the Black Startup, gives her opinion on the education system.
The Black college degree is equivalent to a white person's high school diploma. I think that's ridiculous. What that means is that a Black person can go to the same college as a white person, go to the same courses, listen to the same faculty members, walk across the same stage as a white person, receive the same college degree as a white person, compete in the same economic marketplace to get a job as a white person. And when they're hired, their salary will be separate and unequal from a white person, not because they're not qualified and not because they're not capable of doing the job, but simply because they are Black. So when you think about the investment that both will make in a college degree, where the marketplace is saying that this particular piece of paper is highly valuable, what it's saying is that we are paying the same amount of money for the same piece of paper, but when we attempt to sell it, our return on investment comes back different. And so the education environment then isn't what I believe to be fair to the Black college students seeking to build wealth and earn equitable income.
Gary Vaynerchuk talks about the outdated education system.
It's outdated globally. The internet made it outdated because information is a commodity and the school system was built on memorization of information. Why do I have to do any math? I have a calculator on my iPhone that can give you any math. I don't need to know anything. I can ask Siri and Alexa in 2 seconds, they'll give me the answer. You know, who cares about the periodic table when I can tell you what, like it's so uncomfortably outdated globally because it's predicated on memorization of information in a world where we have information at our fingertip within a second for zero cost. The whole thing's dead.
Students become grade fixated, studying to pass tests rather than learning the concept. They change to brain dumping information instead of learning it because it fit the framework of the education system. Currently, the model of education in the United States is choking and killing the creativity soul out of our young people. How America's education model kills creativity and entrepreneurship by the University of Virginia.
The current model of education in the United States is stifling the creative soul of our children. While this is troubling for a variety of reasons, it also has significant economic consequences for the future of our country. America has long been unique because of its remarkable ingenuity, innovative capacity, and entrepreneurial spirit. Yet over the past few decades, we have witnessed both a steady decline in the number of startups, as well as an increasing number of studies that suggest America's education model fails to promote the kind of creativity, risk-taking, and problem-solving skills necessary for entrepreneurship, and for a world and labor market that is in the midst of profound transformation. These are very worrisome trends.
In our education system, everyone deserves to have access to the same information.
Wealthy people know, educated people know, and their kids have an advantage. Poor people don't know, and we're not doing anything to help them at all. But we know this is critical. Now, you take pre-kindergarten, we know it's important for kids. Poor kids need that experience. Nope. Lots of places, doesn't exist.
We will have more after the short break.
What if I told you that I love you? Would you tell me that you love me back? What if I told you that I miss you? Would you tell me that you miss me back? What if I told you that I need you? Would you tell me that you need me? Yeah, if I tell you all my feelings, would you believe me? Yeah, what if I told you that I love?
Part 2, Mental Illnesses. College's Walter Cannon came up with the saying "flight or flight" in 1915. He was talking about our decisions to face our fears, and when we make a decision to either fight or flight, our bodies perform specific actions. With the information on mental health illnesses in our society, it's surprising that we still tend to discredit mental health. Many mental health errors still occur. Because mental health issues begin during school ages, it's become more and more likely that mental health education should start at an early age, because children spend much more of their daily lives at school, and it seems logical that mental health education should start in school. Mental illnesses is predicted to become one of the major health burdens in the future. The World Health Organization states that mental illnesses is the leading cause of disability worldwide. Over 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression. As adolescent mental health disorders are very common, we are not equipping our children with an understanding of mental health. Inefficient treatment or even untreated mental health disorders can seriously affect people. Using material things to give us any type of security is only temporary. In current times, social media and cell phones make this problem a lot worse. Mental illnesses might not be caused by social media, but does it make it any better? Chris Frank, the CEO of CFX, talks about social media and personal branding.
Social media is such a beast. I think something that's a shame that social media has done is now, because of the way everything's recorded, nothing ever goes away. And I think that's a shame from a news standpoint, but the power of social branding is unbelievable. I mean, who would have thought there'd be influencers making significant money because they can build this incredible following?
Chris continues on about personal branding.
So social media and personal branding are an interesting beast. I mean, in the past, from a personal branding standpoint, our personal brand didn't really extend past our kind of immediate network. I mean, unless we were, politically, high power or in the entertainment industry or something, our personal brands really didn't go past where we work, where we go to church, where we play on the weekends. That was kind of the extent of personal branding. But today, through social media, our personal brands have become critically important. And it's important to control that message too, because if you don't, someone's going to go ahead and do it for you. So important to create your personal brand, but it needs to be genuine. It needs to be who you are, and it needs to reflect your interests and your strengths. And building that personal brand is critically important, but everyone needs to remember you got to keep it true to yourself.
Ed Morrissey of Integrity also talks about his thoughts.
I'm not sure our society really knows what damage is or isn't occurring with social media. I mean, I think it's empowering bad things, bad people, bad thoughts, bad habits. It's psychologically draining, and it's something that will have to be dealt with at some point.
Ed continues on about personal branding.
You or know you or interact with you, and it's super critical to have a personal brand that is clear, concise, and accurate. If you say you're the smartest guy in the room about Photoshop, if that's what you project, and you say that on your Facebook and your Instagram, hey, I'm the expert at this, I'm the expert on LinkedIn, I'm the expert at Photoshop, you better be the expert, right? Because your brand needs to be accurate and true. And so, and everyone needs to realize that every decision they make, every company they work for, every person they associate with, influences their brand to everyone else.
Social media companies might care, but they still have to make some money.
Facebook has a theory that the whole hiding thing, hiding likes, Facebook and Instagram, will increase its post volume. So this kind of comes back to the previous topic in that people's behavior on social media as a consequence of the thing that I was just referencing, the idea that it's become a place where people can where people can hate, or where negative emotions can prevail. By hiding likes, the idea here, and you may have experienced this now on Instagram, it's rolled out on Instagram, the idea being that people will post more because they will be subject to less scrutiny. It has more than 1 billion monthly users, and it includes 500 million daily users of the Stories feature. Now, I think part of the reason that Stories have been so successful is the idea that they're subject to less scrutiny. They don't exist as long. The comments are less public. Mm-hmm. The sentiment is less public than a post. And people are gravitating towards publishing themselves in these places that are subject to less scrutiny. So that's the opposite of the mob mentality where you're hiding 20 rows deep, like I said earlier. And instead over here, as an active participant, you feel more of the sort of real world sentiment. It has more of an impact.
That was Unbox Therapy content creator and YouTuber. BYU researchers created an original 8-year study of adolescents on a direct association between social media use and screen time. BYU professor of family life Sarah Coyne says that, surprisingly, findings show that screen time alone is not the issue.
So the study found no link at all between the time spent on social media and depression or anxiety. And I think it was surprising. It went against our hypothesis, went against the public debate. But then when I really jumped into the issue and was really thoughtful about it, it makes total sense. There's so many things you can do on a screen. It all depends on the way that you use it. And that's any screen, a television screen, video games, anything. So I'm hoping that this study moves the conversation beyond the screen time debate, because you can do so much on your screen. You can build people up, you can tear people down, right? You can be happy, you can be sad, you can connect, you can disconnect. It's really the way that you use it.
Thank you so much for listening to Modern Day Problems, narrated by Eric Johnson. I hope you guys enjoyed this experience.